Thank you. I think as you can tell, Coach Freeman's pretty passionate about coaching basketball. Really, what he said yesterday in practice to the girls was he wanted them as they were walking around the dormitory in the hallways to practice their close-ons. He was serious, they're not. Today I'm going to share with you some of my observations about high school basketball on a wide variety of subjects, which may be of interest to you or may not be. And at the end, I'm hoping, Coach Freeman wanted me to show you some plays that have worked for me over the years. He watched our team play quite a bit over the years and thought we did some pretty good things. And some go-to plays, maybe a little continuity offense that was very good to us in certain situations, and whatever we have time to do there. So that's kind of my plan of attack. I've been asked a lot in the last year. This is my second year, beginning my second year at Valparaiso University. And of course, a lot of my high school colleagues always ask me about how I like coaching at the college level. And I'm an assistant, and it's been quite a few years since I've been an assistant. That's a big change. But I think as high school coaches, you can relate to this. The work day is a lot different. I don't have to stand up in front of a classroom with 25 or 30 kids and be prepared every hour. I don't have to live by the bells. Once you've done that for a few years, that kind of gets to you. I'd actually go out for lunch if I want to. And I still kind of take 25 minutes to eat because it's a habit, but you could take 40 minutes if you wanted to instead of 25. One of the things I've noticed also is that we get to talk basketball and prepare for basketball all day. We actually have a coaches meeting to talk about each practice, what we're going to do, what we're trying to accomplish. And in high school, you never get a chance to do that. I don't have to sprint from my classroom or my office after school down to the coach's locker room, get dressed, and sprint out on the floor. In the last 2 years, I had a job in the office that's kind of a quasi-administrator, which is a horrible job. But nevertheless, I haven't had some parent reaming me out on the telephone. And I'm thinking about that when I got to go down and get my mind ready to practice basketball. It's a lot less stressful in many ways coaching in college than it is in high school. Now the bad part is recruiting. I don't think any college coach would tell you they really enjoy recruiting. And I don't either. I'll be candid with you about that. But I'm trying to get better. But I don't think Coach Freeman hired me to be his ace recruiter. We've got a pretty good one over there in Meredith, but I'm hoping I get better at that. But really, I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot about basketball. I really enjoy learning about basketball every year. It's one of the things I look forward to each year. What am I going to learn this year that I didn't know the year before? He's been able to share his knowledge with me, and hopefully I've shared some of my knowledge with him too. I put in my background here because, kind of like Coach Beatty, I think that's significant to how you evolve as a coach. We're all evolving as a coach all the time. But I coached at, as you can see, most levels of high school. I started out as a freshman coach out of college, and I have to be honest with you, I had no clue what I was doing. And I'd say after 5 years, I didn't know much more than I did the first year. First game we played, I remember we went to Paris, Illinois, about 50 miles south of Danville, and some old fart kicked our butt by 31 points. Now that may not, let me put that in perspective. I had much better talent than that guy. We could not guard our shadows. We were horrible. I did not know how to teach defense. I was really very unprepared to coach high school basketball, and I played in college. So the bus ride back from that game was very somber for me. I was thinking, what have I got myself into? I'm not ready to do this. And I was not ready to do that. That team, to show you how good they were, when they were seniors in high school, made the state quarterfinals in Illinois. And they got beat by Quinn Buckner's team. They only got beat by 12, which was the closest anybody came to in the whole year. So I tried to screw that talent up as well as I could and succeeded, I think, at that point. I then went to Anderson. The coach at Danville is named Norm Held. Some of you have been around a while, maybe remember Norm Held. You probably do because he's a guy that either you love or you hate. Norm was not one of those guys you had ambivalent feelings about. But he was good to me and a great offensive coach. And he asked me to go to Anderson with him to be I could choose between being the JV coach or his varsity assistant. And I was young, and we didn't have any kids, and I had just gotten my master's in administration and was kind of thinking about going in that direction. And it looked like in a couple of years I could have been an administrator at this school I was working at. But I made one of those big decisions in your life, which direction you're going to go, and I chose to do that and go to Anderson. And I've never regretted that decision. I thought I could be an administrator later when I got older, but I've never done that really at this point. Anderson was a fascinating place back, this was 75 through 78. The place holds 8,900 people. They would fill it about 5 or 6 times a year. If they had an average team, they'd sell 3,000 or 4,000 season tickets. If they had a good team, they'd sell 6,000 or 7,000 season tickets. And Keith was not wrong. You know, it's a huge place. This entire section, the entire lower section, on both ends of this, that would be old people who've had their season tickets for years. On that side was the entire student section. And that entire section would be filled with students. You don't see that anymore, do you? And they'd be wearing, you'd have the Letterman's Club, and they'd have it on their outfits, and you'd have the, what do they call them, some other club that were all girls, and they'd have it on their outfits, and they'd actually cheer. I saw some great basketball and some legendary coaches. It was just a wonderful experience. I have to be honest with you, I didn't like living in Anderson, but I loved coaching in Anderson. There would be 3,000 or 4,000 people at my JV games. In fact, this is kind of a funny story. The benches were on the end of the court. So our bench is like right there, and I'm sitting there watching the team warm up. Right over there, in about the second row, every JV game, they get there early, were 4 old women. I don't know whether they were widows or just single out, but they were all old. I'd say, I have to be careful because I'm getting towards that level. They were like 75 to 80 years old. And they went out and had the early bird special, I'm sure, at the local restaurant. They'd come watch the boys' JV basketball game. So about halfway through the season, one of them says to me, "Hey, Coach, come here." So I go over there and they introduce themselves, and they're asking me questions about Muncie Central, the team we're playing that night. So I was kind of sharing with them some of my thoughts. And I'm walking back, and one of them says, "Hey, Coach." I go, "Yes, ma'am." He goes, "Kick their ass." I go, "Yes, ma'am." So they were pretty passionate about their basketball. One other story I think is kind of interesting. They would have to, back then it was 8 teams in a section, you know, just one class. So, and basketball was big in Anderson. There was 3 big high schools plus some of the county schools. And Anderson did not get enough sectional tickets to provide the regular season ticket holders. There just weren't enough. They didn't get a lot of it. So they would have a lottery on like Wednesday night to see who got to buy a sectional ticket. And there'd be like 4,000 people at the lottery. And then when the lottery was open, they'd go out in the parking lot and start haggling over prices on the sectional tickets. It was just amazing how fanatical they were down there about their basketball. It could also be bad that they were fanatical, but I won't go into those stories. Anyway, when I made that move, I decided that I wanted to be a head coach. I really wasn't sure when I made the decision that I want to be a head coach. So the first year, I definitely knew I was not ready to be a head coach. The second year, I started thinking, yeah, maybe I am. So I selectively applied for jobs. That was a mistake because I don't think you get a head job. I said, ooh, that's a good job. I think I'd do that one. The third year, I decided I really want to be a head coach. I applied for every job that was open in the state of Indiana. The Coaches Association, I applied for every one of them. That is a major undertaking. And I got all these rejection letters. I put them up there above my desk on this wall. Thank you, but no thanks. Thank you, but no thanks. And finally, I started to get a few interviews. And didn't get any offers, but I got interviews. And then I went to Portage. And I thought, wow, this is a big school, 2,000 kids. And they were just building a brand new high school, and it was a terrific place. So they called me up and asked me if I'd like an interview. I said, I'd love one. How do I get there? I don't even know where you're at. I'd never hered of Portage. I'd never heard of Valparaiso. I was from Illinois, really. I just come to Indiana. So I got the job. Now it's critical here in my involvement because at Anderson, we played pressure man-to-man defense. We were on you when you got off the bus. We played fast break basketball. Now I had studs on the JV team. They would play for a lot of varsity teams. I had a kid named Henry Johnson, about 6'1". His drop step was a dunk. I had Sean Teague, if you remember the Teague brothers. I coached both the Teague brothers. I was pretty smart. We scored points like crazy. We beat everybody till hell took them to put them on the varsity. So I came to Portage. That's the only thing I know. I'm just figuring out how to coach. I think I say that at some point, no matter how ready you think you are to be a head coach, you're not. It's a learning experience. So I come to Portage and we're doing the same things. Now keep in mind, Portage won 2 games each of their previous seasons. That's why the job was open. That's why they hired a JV coach, because nobody else wanted it. So I've got these kids out there denying and pressing, all that stuff, and we're trying to play fast. Well, it worked for a while, but our schedule was pretty soft. In fact, Fred Mitchell was the coach of Chester. I don't remember exactly, but I think we won our first 10 games. We hadn't played a conference game yet, though. So, after winning 10 games, we started playing conference games, and we lost, and we lost, and we lost. But we won the conference. The Lake Suburban Conference, which we weren't a part of, we beat everybody in that conference, so I declared ourselves winner of that one. In the Dublin Conference, we didn't win any. We were 0, I think we had 7 teams back then, maybe. We were 0-6. Fred was one of those losses. And that was a wonderful experience for me, because we had to work our butts off and figure out on every possession how you stop them from scoring or getting a basket. I mean, it was very educational for me. Me and my coaching staff were searching for answers and clues the entire time. As part of my evolvement as a coach, I thought that experience laid the foundation which allowed us to be more successful later. I got fired at Portage after 9 years. We didn't win enough. I also cut the wrong kid. That happens sometimes. Then I decided to apply for the job of Valparaiso, which was a girls' job. When I first started coaching, they didn't have girls' basketball. And I really didn't want to apply. I didn't want to coach girls. My wife talked me into it because she said I was a pain in the ass to live with. And I probably was. I just wasn't happy. So I got the job, and I inherited unbelievable talent. At the time, I didn't know it. Jack tried to tell me, but I didn't really understand what a good girls basketball player was. But at that point, we had great seasons because, in high school sports, many times it's, are you at the right school? There are have schools in high school, and there are have-not schools. I was at a have school. Some schools never win. Some schools always win. Valparaiso always wins. And so I was at the right school at the right time, and that's kind of how I evolved at this point. I want to talk to you about philosophy. When I used to go to clinics, I did not want to hear about philosophy. I want to hear about X's and O's. But some old guy like me wanted to talk about philosophy. Well, I pretty much tuned them out. And I didn't understand what the significance of that was, why it was important. But as you continue to do this job, you pretty much understand that it gets more important. But still I resist it. We all have ideas about how the game should be played or what values we're going to bring to our program. But and that's kind of your philosophy. You don't really have it clarified or unified in a consistent train of thought. Well, my AD, Sam Rasmussen, decided 10 years ago that we were all going to have parent meetings. That was something else I never did. Never had a parent meeting. Stay away from the parents. And he dictated to us some things we had to do. One of them was you had to Tell the parents your philosophy. Well, I was resistant to that also, but it was one of the better things he ever asked me to do. So I worked on this philosophy for several weeks. It was about 2 pages, single-spaced. And since that time, I've continued to evolve, and I reread it every year. I fine-tune it from my new feelings, my new experiences. I think every decision you make is based on the philosophy you have written down. It's not just about how you're going to play basketball. It's about how you're going to treat people, what principles you're going to apply to choosing who's going to be on your team, all kinds of things. I also think the parent meeting is very valuable because it allows you to share with the parents what your philosophy is, and you're going to take care of some other issues. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but I've changed my mind on all that, and I wouldn't have done that if my athletic director had not forced me to do it, probably. I'm going to give you a brief description of my philosophy. This is some of the basic principles. And Keith and I kind of think alike on some of this stuff. I learned quite a while ago that basketball involves teaching many, many different skills, and we don't have time to deal with them all, especially in high school. You get limited practice time. Games start, you've got girls' games, boys' games, freshman games, wrestling matches, gymnastics, all that stuff taking up your gym time. So, once the game started playing, I was happy if I got an hour and a half of practice, and sometimes it was an hour and 15 minutes. So my point is, you have limited time. And I think you have to figure out what's important and make sure you emphasize it. And there were certain things that I thought were important. I thought defense was important. And these people I competed against, I hope they thought we played good defense because we worked awful hard at trying to play good defense. I just think in high school, you can develop defensive skills quicker, and then you can offensive skills. Offensive skills take a long time to develop. I thought I could get kids to play hard and execute our defensive principles and be competitive until we caught up offensively. I think it's critical that you surround yourself with good people. And I think the first people that are most important are your assistant coaches. And I'm going to say right now in modern day America high school, middle school coaches are very, very important. And this is why I think that's true. It has evolved in high school sports that we no longer have 3-sport athletes. We coaches don't like to share players anymore. Parents don't want their kids to play 3 sports. They're going to get a scholarship in volleyball because the club coach in volleyball told them they weren't. If they can do club volleyball, which just happens to be during basketball season, you can't play basketball. You all know volleyball schools. We label these, don't we? There's volleyball schools. Do they have good basketball programs? Usually not. Or we have a softball high school. Some schools are great in softball. Well, what do they do all around? They hit and do all that other stuff. But I know this. Good softball players who would help you in basketball are not playing basketball because they got to get a scholarship. So my point is, you're battling for players. I can't even think what his name was. He was a coach at Duke. I heard him back in the 1970s. He says, if you want to have a good team, get good players and keep good players. If you coach for a while, you understand how true that is. Get good players and keep good players. Well, it starts when they are in middle school or younger. You've got to have middle school coaches who will get out there and recruit these kids. PE teachers. Come on out here, Susie. Try for basketball. Somebody's got the attention of the kids because they're going to get involved in something if they're fairly athletic. And if you don't compete with and I don't like this. We're competing with volleyball, we're competing with for players because they're not going to play both. They'll play their freshman or sophomore year, but if they're any good, they're not going to play after that. Almost always. So your middle school coaches, I think, are critical. Let me preface that by saying I've coached at a place where your assistant coaches were very unstable in the sense that they changed a lot. At Portage, I had to beg people to coach freshman basketball. They do it for me as a favor, maybe. And I'm competing against Valparaiso. Here's Skip Collins. Those guys had been in Valparaiso their entire life. And when I came to Coach Pilser, they're still there, and they're still there now until they retire. They never lost any coaches. And they're all good. So you're never coaching your coaches. Every year I was getting new people. I spent half the time coaching the coaches. So I think stability is critical for you if you develop a program. You have to get good coaches and you have to keep good coaches. The next thing is selecting players. I think the most important thing you do for the success of your team in any given season is choose who's on it, or choose who's not on it. Because I've made the mistake of choosing somebody that has come back to haunt me. Now, I have to admit, I'm not very good at this. I was not good at taking some kid who's talented with a very questionable attitude and turning that attitude around. Now, maybe you are good at that and you do it better than I do, but I have to tell you, every time I tried that, it came back and bit me in the butt. Every time. I never succeeded. And I'll tell you why, because they tease you with their athleticism and their talent. But in the critical situation of the game, they never deliver. They break your heart. And the good kid who's not as talented, who works their butt off every day, they execute in critical situations, they continue to get better throughout the course of the year, they're a good teammate, they're low maintenance, they're a good school citizen, just like the kids Coach Brooks has got. They're 38-0 for a reason last year. He's got good people. So the longer I coached, I resisted that temptation to get that kid that I thought, I'm going to save this kid because he can play basketball and really help us. And I have never regretted that. But maybe that's one of my weaknesses, and maybe that's one of your strengths. You could do a better job of that than I did. But I want to emphasize to you that people you get involved in your program are critical, in my opinion. I'm way behind schedule here. I got to get going. Leadership, communication, I got to put them together. I think that's important. Do you have a mentor if you're younger? I did not have one until about my 6th year into coaching. I thought it was critical in my development. I was like the Lone Ranger stuck in this junior high with nobody to talk to, nobody to give me some guidance. Do you have a confidential confidant? Maybe that's the same thing. We can call some people up. Coach Brooks, Coach Freeman, they talk to each other all the time. He's got a board of governors, or what you want to call it. He contacts those people all the time. That's great. How do you deal with this situation? Get some other people's opinions. I think that's critical for you. First impressions. Now, this is the angle I'm coming at on first impressions. I used to teach business, so a lot of these things in here are like business principles. It's not walking in for an interview. It's walking in to your practice. It's walking into the locker room before the game. It's walking into the locker room at halftime. Those kids are going to form an impression about you every time you do that. This is what the research says. That's going to happen in less than 30 seconds. If you're applying for the job, these apply also, by the way. 7% of what you say, the words, will help form their first impression. That's not much, is it? 38% of the first impression will be determined by the tone of your voice. So it's more important how you say it than what you say. And 55% of that impression will take place from your body language, with an overwhelming majority being from the neck up. So when you walk, and this is substantiated by many research projects, when you walk in for a job, in 30 seconds they've got you sized up. Either you're a candidate or you're not. The rest is just formality. Well, your kids do the same thing. Coach Cox walks in before the game. He looks different tonight. What's wrong? He didn't have that edge to him in his face or whatever, maybe. Maybe he's distracted by something else. Or he's got that game face on. You know, that transmits transmits a feeling to those kids about what's going to be happening that night. I just think the first impressions are important. I think it's important you coach within your personality. There are lots of ways to do things. Your players always know if you're not genuine. You can't be Coach K, or you can't be Pat Summit, or whoever it is. I think all teams are an extension of the leader. The leader is you, usually. And so whatever you are, they're going to be. I think a little fear is a good thing. This is what I mean by that. I think it's true if you're a coach. I think it's true if you're a teacher. I think it's true if you're a parent. And when we coach, I've talked about this. And I got a 19-year-old kid right now, and I got a 17-year-old kid. So far, so good. But they have to be afraid, I don't want to piss him off. It's the same thing with you as a coach. You know, they might think about doing something, but they don't want to get in trouble because they're just a little bit afraid that you're going to nail them. And they don't have to be fearful of you, you know, that in a bad sense. I think that's healthy. I think it's important you treat your players like you would your own kids. If you have kids, you've got to respect them, you've got to care about them. They definitely pick up on that. And this is kind of what we all deal with, I think, every year. You need to clearly define what is acceptable and what is not. Because whatever you tolerate, you're going to get. You expect them to be on time? Coach Katie did, didn't he? I was the same way. We ran. And I ran them hard. That means they didn't do it again. That's my philosophy on discipline. I think it's in there somewhere, but I'll get to it now. If you have to discipline somebody, I'd really try not to suspend them. Now, sometimes you have to. If they're involved in alcohol or something like that, or they get arrested or whatever, then you have to suspend them. But I tried to run them so much that one of two things happened. Either A, they never did it again, because nobody wants to do that, or B, they just quit. One of those two things is going to happen. When you suspend them, they become a martyr. Plus, maybe you've been working with this kid, he's part of the team. So you're penalizing the whole team if Johnny or Susie's not in there doing their job. So we ran them. I think players will practice as hard as you coach. When you had this experience, you're just not with it today. You walk into practice, you kind of lack that energy, that edge for whatever reason. You're having trouble concentrating. You're having trouble paying attention, and you're just not getting into practice. How often do players kind of do the same thing? Or if you want to and they're lethargic and you come in and you're on top of your game, don't you think you can get that turned around? 9 times out of 10, I think you can. So I'm thinking, they're going to play as hard as you coach. You're going to set the standard here. If not, they're going to be very unhappy campers because we're going to stop and work on our conditioning rather than passing and catching. I think you need to be honest and demanding. Coach Freeman was talking about that also, where things are going to break down in your program. I think the only people who are going to be honest with them are the coaches. Their parents aren't going to be honest with them. Their girlfriend's not going to be honest with them. Their boyfriend's not going to be honest with them. Why do they let you shoot more? Why don't you get to play more? And you're the only beacon of truth in their life when it comes to basketball. That's just my opinion. You have to be honest. They all know the truth anyway. Mom and Dad don't know the truth, but they know the truth. I used to make all the decisions. I think that was a mistake. I started letting them make decisions, but they're really ones I didn't care about. Here's a biggie for girls. I used to pick out the uniforms. Bitch, bitch, bitch. I didn't get the right cut. I didn't do this right. I didn't do that right. Finally, it dawned on me, you do it. So I'd call the seniors, here's the catalog. These are the guidelines. You only have 2 colors of alcohol, it's green and white. If it's gray in there, I got to pay for it. I don't want to do that. So I let them pick it out. Happy campers. So that works for me. Get the right people on the bus and get them in the right seats. If you're at good to great, that's a good to great principle. Business book. How true that is with your coaches. with your players. We talked about cutting kids, right people on the bus as we take this journey, and then figuring out a role for them that's going to benefit your team as much as possible. Are you a manager or a leader? Now think about this. Managers want everything to be the same. They're just going to manage things. Leaders want to see change and growth. We can do this better. You're better than that. You can give us more than what you think you can. You're a leader. You're going to demand things. We all, I think as coaches, try to get kids and teams to play better than they think they're capable of playing. We're going through that right now in conditioning. We went through a week where they were scared a little bit because they didn't know what to expect. They didn't, coaches talking about 3 of them not finishing their suicides because we're working their butts off, really. And it's great. But all of a sudden, later this week, we're seeing great improvement by people. They realize that, hey, I can do more than I thought I could. You just keep pushing them and demanding more and more. It sets the bar high. It works. Make sure you are never misunderstood. I used to tell my kids, because this used to irk me, I will be responsible for everything I say and everything I do. Gladly, right or wrong. I don't like being responsible for things I don't say and I don't do. Now, research says when I'm talking to you or you're talking to your team, they're going to remember about 60% of what you say. And human beings like to embellish things, don't they? Nobody wants to tell a boring story. Well, coach did this today at practice. It's telling mom and dad at the dinner table. Well, that's okay, but just make sure you get it right. Let's talk about parents. Coach Kitty talked about parents. They really are not the enemy. Most parents are great. They mind their own business, support their kid, complain in private. I always look at it, they have a license to be a parent. That's just the way parents are. They love their kid. You don't love their kid. You love your team. They don't love your team. They want their daughter or son to do well. They hope the team does well, but if we got to choose, I want my kid to do well. So we have a conflict right there. I think it's important you have a parent meeting. And you talk about all the things that you want to tell them about. But I think you need to guarantee them 2 things. One, their son or daughter is not going to play as much as you think they are. 2, their son or daughter is not going to get to shoot as much as you think they should. And then there's an awkward silence. The other thing I think you need to do with parents is say, I will not meet with you concerning anything to do with basketball. All meetings, that's not right, 98% of requested meetings are about playing time. They can disguise it any way they want, but my kid's not getting to play in it. Tell the parents at the prayer meeting, we are not meeting about playing time. If you come in and tell me one thing and something else, the meeting's going to be over immediately. Now, some administrators, in their infinite wisdom, will tell you that you have to have meetings with parents when they request them. Don't you like this when parents call you and say, Coach, this is towards the end of this conversation on the phone. Now, don't tell Susie that I called you. She'd be very upset if I called you. I think if they're going to make you have a meeting, you have the kid present. What's the big secret here? If mom or dad's got issues that involve their daughter, and they involve you, obviously, let's have a meeting. You'll find out you don't have many meetings if you require that to be done. Parents got to be there. The kids got to be there. I'd also have the AD there as a witness. For you experienced coaches, this is out of the business book and I like that. Your program is humming along. You're being very successful. You're winning games. Everything seems hunky-dory. There are 6 temptations that are keeping you from going from wherever you are to even better. We'll go them very quickly. You stop working on yourself. you've got it all figured out. You continue to work hard, but stop working on yourself. You use your record, you use your experience as a license to stop reading, watching videos, going to clinics, whatever. You're going to finish your career with what you currently have gotten. You quit growing as a coach. Recipe for disaster. Temptation number 2, you stop thinking big. Start playing it safe. You got to protect my reputation, got to protect my image. You stop playing to win, you play not to lose. You lose your hunger. You spend time maintaining rather than stretching. Temptation 3, you stop leading from the front. You're getting results and steamrolling, so it feels like everything's tidy and under control. You start to coach with remote control and leave the trenches for the office. Your assistants take over, in other words. Temptation 4, you stop developing others. You look at the results, stare in the mirror, pound your chest, convince yourself it's all because of you. I'm great. You don't rock the boat by delegating, sharing power, or pushing decisions to your assistants. You adopt the Lone Ranger mindset. You assume more responsibility rather than developing your team and your coaches. Temptation 6, you begin to abandon the basics. It's the natural tendency when you're doing well to let up. You get away from the disciplines and decisions that made you successful in the first place. Just food for thought. Some thoughts on your coaching career. Because I've struggled with almost all of these. Your thoughts you occurred to your life and how they fit together. In my 20s and 30s, I became obsessed with basketball coaching. My life was totally out of balance. And I don't think that's healthy. There are more important things in your life than coaching basketball. But I think it's easy, especially if you're a young coach, to get that out of whack pretty seriously. When you take a new job, do you want to live in that community? And you might be surprised. 2 years ago, I had a good friend, got a good job, high-profile school. I go down and pick up a video from him before the semi-state. He says, "Greg, I need to talk to you. I hate this place. I don't want to live here. I don't want my kids to go to school here." Food for thought. My next question is, do you want your kids to go to school in this community? Don't just get swept along trying to move up the ladder. Are you sure you want to move up the ladder? Who says you cannot enjoy being a coach coaching freshmen? Who says you cannot enjoy being a coach coaching JVs? Is there some exalted status because you're a varsity coach or a college coach? The coaches at Couch in Morgan Township or the 7th grade at Ben Franklin Middle School, they have the same experiences, the same feelings that anybody else has as a coach. Do you remember those days? So I don't think it makes a difference where you want to coach. When you get up, each level you go up, you're going to have a lot more responsibility. You're going to have a lot more time invested. Take the job you want and work at the job you get. Sometimes the best stroke of luck is not getting what you thought you wanted. Food for thought. Practice your interviews. If you get a new job, try to determine who you think the people of influence are in this community, school system, athletic department, and ask them 3 questions. And just listen. If you were me, what would you do first? What are you most concerned with in this program? And what about this program are you most proud of? I think you'll find those answers very revealing and give you a good indication of kind of what challenges you're getting yourself involved in there. I'm not doing well. What makes an offense or defense successful? I have grown to believe this. It's the players. This might be the most important part of my speech to you today. Let's use this analogy. Part of my job at Valparaiso High School was I was in charge of the freshman academy. Now, the freshman academy was for these kids coming into the high school who had not passed ISTEP in the 8th grade. And they got to pass it as a sophomore. So our school system's attempt was to get them from the point where they're not passing to the point where they're passing as sophomores. So the freshman academy was an attempt to do that, and I was in charge of that until I left. So we did a lot of research. What you find out in education is, no matter what the facilities are, the technology, all this other stuff, once they enter that schoolhouse, what has the most impact on them in terms of learning and being successful is that teacher standing in front of the classroom. Research over and over will indicate that. It's not the curriculum, it's not any other stuff. It's that human being up there. And you probably all can relate to that if you think about some of the teachers you've had. You probably hate some courses because you didn't like the teacher and they were lousy. You probably loved some courses because the teacher was very interesting and exciting. So let's extend that thinking. You are all teachers. You just teach basketball. And your classroom is a gymnasium. So I suggest to you that you have the biggest impact on those kids being successful. Now, let's extend that even further. Let's say we have 20 schools of about the same size. So they're going to get the same kind of students, same kind of athletes over a 10-year period, aren't they? Most of them are average. That's what average means. Most people are average, aren't they? You'll get some studs along the way or whatever, but over the course of time, you just get your average kid, don't you? Some are taller, some are shorter, but they're just average. The difference in the programs that consistently play good basketball are the ones that develop the players, not their system. There's a good example. There's a good example. Chesterton and Plymouth. I know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to do. He knows what I'm going to do. But they develop the players. So you go play Plymouth, what are they going to do? Every kid that catches the ball is going to get a triple threat immediately, right? And they're going to be in a low stance on offense and defense. Dave emphasized that, I'm sure. They think it's important. They're going to play good defense. They're not going to turn the ball over. They give their kids a chance to be good. So my criteria for a good program is when they play you, when everybody else plays you, they think to themselves, well, that's going to be a tough game. No matter what the talent level is. Because I know when I played those guys, because Jack and I battled, Fred battled for, I don't know, 20 some odd years. And they were always close games. I knew, some years they had good talent, some years they didn't have as good talent. They're always tough to play against. It's because you have to develop the players you get. It's like in the classroom, my principal used to say, you get who you get. Stop complaining about the kids. You just get who you get. You get who you get. Work with them. Develop them. That's the difference. Just my opinion. What also makes it successful is the fundamentals, obviously. And then the last part goes back to your teaching also. Getting players to execute with intensity and precision. That's teaching, isn't it? Think about it. What you will tolerate, you will get. Are you going to be picky about execution and intensity? Well, good coaches are, I think. Factors that determine winning and losing basketball games. I thought this was very interesting. Now, there are a lot of surprises there, but there are some. This is the top 5 men's Division I conferences in the nation. They did a statistical analysis of all these games. If you have a higher field goal percentage, you're going to win about 78.5% of the time. Well, what surprised me was the high number. I didn't think it'd be 78%. So shooting's important. But also, I don't have it in here, it's not the team that takes the most shots. In fact, the team that took the most shots lost more than they won. The team that took the most shots lost more than they won. So it's the quality of your shots. The team that committed the fewest numbers of personal fouls is the winner in 77% of the games. Well, my contention to my team was always an overwhelming majority of fouls because you played bad defense. Now, sometimes you just get fouled. You're in the wrong place, wrong time, and officials saw it different, whatever. Most fouls, you played bad defense. The team which scored the most free throws was the eventual winner 71.5% of the time. They also averaged 3.7 fewer fouls, the winner. 69% of the contest, teams with a great number of assists were the winner. Does that not indicate that maybe one-on-one basketball is not as important as you might think it is? Is that even more true in girls basketball? Probably. The team with the fewest turnovers won 61% of the time. The team with the highest number of rebounds was the winner 60% of the time. Here's another stat they didn't throw at you. You all have your opinions about three-point missed shots. Well, the defense got 32% of missed three-point shots. And the offense got 31%. Whatever happened to the other 40%, I don't know. But that's what the stats say. The point being that there is no difference between rebounding three-point shots and two-point shots in terms of how many you're going to get. My quick ideas on scouting. I used to, well, Jack and I were buddies. We made each other scouting all the time because he was a scouting fanatic. In fact, one year I gave him an honorary Valparaiso letter because he attended more games than my players. But I used to write down all these things they did, and I think that was a waste of time. Do they start their offense on the right side? The answer 9 times out of 10 is going to be yes, isn't it? You want to screw them up? Take that away. In fact, there at the bottom, I wrote, in the NBA, when teams force players to start their offenses on the left, their offensive effectiveness decreases 15 to 20%. Even at the NBA. Make them go left. They have 3 entries for their offense. If they got 1 entry, take that away, no matter what it is. See what they do. Stand and look at each other, probably. Most players have 1 move in high school. Take that away. The low post person going to turn the left shoulder every time? Probably if they're right-handed in high school, aren't they? They have a counter move? Maybe, but it's not going to be nearly as good as their go-to move, is it? The last point is videotape. I found this to be true. We were fortunate enough to go deep into the tournament several years. Well, one year I didn't watch Fort Wayne, who was it? Snyder play. And usually I try, if I thought we had a chance to get like the semi, I said I'd kind of go watch some of those teams play, we might play. But this year, I didn't watch Snyder for whatever reason. So I have videotape. So we're down at Kokomo playing them in the semi, so the first game. Well, I got there, well, these guys are a lot bigger than I thought they were. And they're a lot quicker than I thought they were. Well, I started kind of paying attention to that. Videotape does not accurately reflect the size or the quickness of those players, in my opinion. So if it's a really important game, I like to make sure I see them in person, and then I get a videotape also. I don't like one or the other. Just my opinion on that one. Coach is giving me the evil eye over there. You can look at those miscellaneous ideas. I put some set plays at the end here. Obviously, I'm not going to get to them. I'll just talk about them in a second. In fact, you can ask Jack about this. He knows it better than I do. The man-to-man set continuity, do I have continuity written after that? Let's talk about that a second. That's a very, in fact, you know who I got that from 20 years ago? Not, I heard him at a clinic, Gene Cady. I got that from Gene. I used it like this. If there was like 3.5 minutes to go, we had an 8-point lead. we call it shuffle because it has a shuffle cut in it. It's not really a shuffle offense, but it has a shuffle cut. And it's a very structured continuity. And in high school, there's no shot clock. I hated to call timeout to get us organized. I did not like delay offenses, so we'll use Coach Cady's term, a control offense. So at 3 or 3.5 minutes with 8 points, that's just an example, I might say shuffle. They knew what I meant when I said shuffle. We're shooting layups and free throws. Well, by the time the other guys figure it out, usually, we've worked a minute off the clock, we've got a layup. If we're lucky to get a layup, and then we'll figure out we're kind of messing around with basketball. But we're attacking the basket. One of the beauties of this thing is you're attacking the basket. All 5 people are moving. The ball is moving from side to side constantly. Your post players have to be able to play outside, catch the ball, make a pass, pretty much. Because we run this thing many times and never dribble. If it starts to break down, I had a rule my point guard would sprint to the ball, take it away from whoever had it, and yell reset. And we just start all over again. I can't tell you how many times this one basketball game was not just any basketball game, big games. We started the state championship game in 2000 against Davis with this offense to try to neutralize their pressure. We scored the first 2 times on it. It's not, if I get in the middle of the game, it's because I wanted to change the tempo, or we just did it to kind of try to get a good shot, then we get out of it. Usually it was an end of game thing. It's hard to run for this reason. It takes a lot of work. But the other side is, the other guy's got to work too. And the defensive post almost always gets screens, so your post players get layups. Take a look at it. It was good to me. Maybe you can utilize it for you too. Thank you very much. Appreciate your interest.
I think it's one of the top young coaches in the United States. He has revitalized the Bowling Green program. They've been managing it the last 3 years. Sweet 16 this past year. Great recruiter, great X-No coach. Great knowledge on the high screen and roll offense. Curt.
Thank you. I'm happy to be over here today, and I've really enjoyed listening to Keith and Greg speak already. One of the things that I think clinics do is reconfirm that we're all doing very similar things, and it's a great reinforcement to hear that the coaches that you're coming to listen to do it the same exact way. And Keith and I talk a lot of basketball when we're on the road together. We skin the cat the same way. A lot of the stuff that he was saying is team building and team bonding we do. And I just liked what Greg had to say. One of the things in particular is fear. And we've been very successful over the recent years, but I just graduated everyone. And I have about 7 true freshmen, a transfer, 3 sophomores that couldn't get on the floor last year. So I got 10 out of my 13 that really have not played a game. And I went and scheduled Valpo, the first game of the year. So one of the reasons I'm invited over here is because I think he wants to listen to me more, and they're going to steal my plays. We got that, and one of the things that I did that for was because I fear failure, and it drives me, and I know that Keith is as good a defensive coach that there is out there at the Division I level. And I know that he's going to shut down our ball screen offense, and we're going to have to try to find a way to win 48, 46, 45, 43. It will be an ugly score, you guys, the first game of the year when we play Valpo, but there's going to be a lot of good defense going on, and I have so much respect for what Keith does and his knowledge of the game. The other thing that I thought Greg, he said so many good things, but the one other thing that I thought was interesting was when he started to talk about the 7th and 8th grade coaches and learning from different levels. Truly, I coached the program this year. They went to the Sweet 16, had a great run. We were the one team in the country that had Duke on the ropes, and we were leading them in the second half. We had the ball down 1 possession with 2 minutes to go in the game against Duke. And clearly had some great players. But my best quick hit all year came from a 5th and 6th grade coach who once listened to me speak about the high ball screen, came up to me afterwards and go, "What if you did this?" And I liked it. We've used it. He won 3 games. So you can learn from anyone, and there's some great, great coaches. But my best quick hit that almost allowed us to beat Duke came from a 5th and 6th grade coach that won 3 games. And so, again, I really enjoy being at clinics. I'm beginning my 18th season at the Division I level. I've coached only at the Division I level, and only women. I was fortunate to be in a school district growing up when I was a senior in high school that you had to be a teacher in the district to coach in the district I grew up in, Western Pennsylvania. No one wanted to coach the 7th and 8th grade girls team. I had a sister that was about 9 years older than me that was a terrific player, went on and played Division I, so I respected the women's game from an early age. My high school coach came to me and said, would you coach the 7th and 8th grade team, even though you're a senior, if we gave you a faculty advisor? And I said, absolutely, and I was hooked ever since and only have dreamt about coaching women. I always wanted to coach at the collegiate level, and I was very, very fortunate. I am beginning my 7th year at Bowling Green as the head coach. Before that, previously, I was at Colorado State University working for a gentleman named Tom Collin, who was Lynn Dunn's top assistant for a long time at Purdue, and a great, one of the best head coaches there is out there. And we walked into a situation at Colorado State where we inherited a guard by the name of Becky Hammond. We were very fortunate. Becky Hammond just ended up a great WNBA season where she was an all-star. She was second in voting for MVP in the WNBA this year. So obviously we walked into a great situation. When we were there, we started to work on what we could do to be aggressive, to put the ball in Becky's hands. We wanted to run a lot of pick and rolls, and could we develop something continuity-wise? Well, Tom, my boss, had just come from Arkansas, where he had recruited Chrissy Smith. And Chrissy Smith at Arkansas, from the state of Indiana, was a tremendous guard, and they did a lot of the same things at Arkansas that we wanted to do with Becky Hammond. So we developed this high ball screen continuity offense that I've continued to tweak and develop through the years. And Tom has gone on to Louisville and now Arkansas and continued to develop, and a lot of people are running ball screen offenses all over the place, and we continue to evolve it. But one of the reasons that I liked it was I'm a mid-major coach that needs to compete at the national level against high majors. And we needed to find a system that helped us do that, along with recruiting great players. And this is what we came up with. So my progression today is to bore you and show you a very simple continuity offense and get you through that. And then we're going to progress on why I think we've been so successful. And it's the quick hit packages, the breakdown drills, and the things that we have developed out of that offense. Steve and I have got together. He came over and talked with us last year. He's obviously won the national championship, and I can't wait to hear him speak. And I look forward to working with his kids. They do a lot of same things. Brooke, who's been called out a lot today already, Brooke comes and plays pickup with our kids at BG, and she's probably better than most of my kids at BG. But we do have to embarrass her a little bit. Her dad's the head coach of Toledo football. It's our arch rival. So I can't love her. I can respect her, but I can't love her because her dad's the arch enemy for us. But we're going to bring 5 players out here. And just for the sake of teaching purposes, we're going to have the guard on this side. You can have post high and low. It doesn't matter 4 or 5, but we're going to start on the ball side in the mid post. The top post, we're going to teach to split the midline and put your high foot on the 3-point line. Okay? The wings are foul line extended behind the arc, and I say that, and I have 7 freshmen that have no idea where to walk. Get foul line extended behind the arc, and you're toeing the line, getting ready to shoot. Okay? Now, we're gonna go through this pretty quickly. Obviously, we work really hard at driving our defenders into the screen or under the screen, and we work very, very hard at this. So I'm gonna go fast, but basically to get the simple continuity of the offense in. Okay? As the point guard drives to the screen, okay, and comes off the screen, the first thing that we're trying to accomplish as we get off the screen is to get to the lane line. And we use the terminology with the lane line all the way extended to the arc is we need to get into the lane line and win some lane line battles. Okay? Very simply, if we can get down the lane line, okay, and score, she's creating offense for herself. If the low post defender steps over to try to help on that lane line drive, we work really hard at dumping that pass and keeping that guard from dropping in front of us on her back, and we work on the dump. The wing Over here, that's foul line extended, or a little bit below foul line extended, is where we start. Is hunting for a shot, is what we call it. And she's staying a ready shooter, and she slides along the arc. Now, we can slide up, we can slide down. Most of the time, we slide down and stay in front of the ball. It's an easier pass when you're asking your guard to continue to attack down lane lines. So she's sliding around the arc, potentially maybe a back door, but you're hunting for a shot, always spotting up. Alright, now the simple continuity coming off of the ball screen is if we can get penetration but we don't have a shot, we don't have a dump to the post player, is the kick. Okay, kick the ball. Okay, circle out low towards the baseline. Okay, let's say that we were running this at first and we always rolled down. This post player was rolling down to the block and right off her hip, the low post was coming high. Okay, now we will look for the shot off the catch. In this offense, and I included a packet of information and stats, and it's more propaganda and recruiting purposes more than good information in there, but one of the things that you'll realize is we take about 30% of our shots on the year will be threes. Sometimes it's been as high as 33%. Okay? So we penetrate and kick and take a lot of jumpers off the catch, and we work over and over on that. Okay? When the girl catches it, she looks shot. Okay? The roll down is there. If we catch no help side, we catch her on the high side, we can keep looking in there. Now, it's a continuity offense, it's a weave action, so we're right back into it. Now, the hardest thing right from the beginning to teach your freshmen is, I'm going to use that screen, and I'm below the screen, and I'm going to dribble like crazy right at the screen. Okay? Now, if she did that, she can't turn the corner back and go back and attack her lane line. So one of the things that we teach is if we don't get anything out of it, that we're going to immediately take a couple steps back with the back dribble. Okay? We're going to crab dribble backwards, still looking to see if help side's too much in there, we can skip and shoot it. If they're not in there, we get caught on the high side, the point guard's now stepped out behind the arc, we can still post enter. If we get someone on their back, we can pound it into the post. Our leading scorers are still our post players, as many threes as we take, and as much as we do. So now it's your turn, and you're going to come off of that screen. Okay? Now, let's say that she comes off, I do a good job defending one way or the other, and I can't get into my lane line battle, but I bounce it out. Okay? I roll down. Okay? You can look for that, I roll up. Okay? Let's say we kick. Okay? We can circle out. A lot of times we teach our kids if we kick down and have the angle to go guard to guard, we can go guard to guard ball screen. That's fine. If not, circle out. We're right back into it. Which way are you going to dribble, Brooke? You're going to dribble up here first while you're looking at that post, still looking at that battle in there, seeing if we can skip and get a cheap one. If not, now you're attacking. Roll, okay? You didn't get the lane line, fine. Okay, right there, right there. Okay, that is the continuity. It's just very simply a high pick and roll offense, okay, with the weave action. Now, what's your name? Kayla. Kayla caught the ball pretty deep. The one thing that I differ from Coach Collin that I worked with where he ran at Louisville and Arkansas, where I do, is Brooke just kicked and circled out. Okay? At Colorado State, we always screen between the lane lines. Okay? At Bowling Green, we will go screen here. Okay? Let's go screen at the elbow. Okay? Now, you don't have to bounce up as high. It's a better angle. Bounce up a little bit. Look at your low post. Okay? Come off of that. Okay? And you got that whole lane line, okay? Lane area. A little bit different angle, but to penetrate and kick, penetrate and dump, penetrate and score. Okay? Now, if you come off the lane line and you're more at the elbow, your roll angle is a little bit different. Let's say you can't get the corner turn and you bounce it out. Okay, now you got to roll all the way to the ball side and you come up, and you might come up more lane line instead of there. Okay, so our post, there's not a magnet at the top of the key that it has to be directly in center of the key. Our post players are taught. Let's say you penetrated and just kicked already. Go circle through. Okay. Let's stay back in the middle. Once this person starts to dribble and look like they're going to use the screen, we're not going to pass anymore to them. Okay? We can pass when they're coming high, but once we start to dribble, we don't pass it, because there's nothing that drives me crazier than to start to look at the screen and go and start to throw her the ball. And she's coming over there to try to headhunt the defender. So once we start the dribble towards the screen, we're going to do it. Okay, so the simple continuity, penetrate and kick. I'm boring you to tears with what we do. Okay? And now let's come off, bounce out. You don't get your lane line penetration. Roll down, brook your space, and you're trying to find a shot. Come up and throw it to the post. Okay? Now. Okay? It's the same thing, but how do we stay in continuity when we throw directly to the post coming high? Well, our first look is shot, obviously. High-low, okay, which is a very good offense, high-low. You were just dribbling at Brooks' player, so she's there, okay? You're rolling, you're coming up, you throw back, there's no one in there. So you can win a high-low battle by ducking in and keeping them on your back or getting that high-low pass. So it's a very good high-low offense. You don't have to run it with just post players who can shoot threes. The other thing that we work in, I'm in Big Ten country, and Keith has the same problems. We can't land that big monster post players. So we recruit a lot of undersized post players. We recruit a lot of glorified threes and ask them to be our power forwards. So we get this position a lot with our 4 players who are really glorified threes. And they catch the ball right here, and we rip it, and we drive it down the lane line at them and isolate. And now, just like the guards practice every day, we got penetrate and kick, penetrate and dunk. Okay? And so give her ball back, run up there from the bottom up, inside pivot, and rip it and drive back down your lane line. Okay? And we play isolation that way. Okay? Now take the ball back up. Now the question is, how do we stay in continuity? Because she didn't have the shot, she didn't have the high-low, she didn't have the rip and drive. She's got 2 options, okay? She can go right, if this is Becky Hammond, Chrissy Smith, okay, we would go right back at our point guard. No, let's go right back at our point guard with a dribble handoff. Right, I'm sorry, she's not your point guard, but here, this way, okay? She just came past to you, go right back, and where are you going to drive? Okay, you're going to try to win your lane line battle, okay? All right, set back up here, okay? All right, so if that happens, we're right where we need to be. She goes right back to the guard, and we're coming off. We were on the ball side, no problems. We can go right back to that person. Okay, set that back up. Sorry, guys, I'm going to make you do it. Now, what happens if she doesn't like that, and it's easier to go this way? Well, we rule it, you can't turn it over. Can't turn it over. I'm a big believer with what Keith said. 2 things that we do well is we don't turn the ball over, and we don't give up transition layups. We just refuse to turn the ball over. Last 2 years, we've been in the top 10 in the country in turnovers per game. We just refuse to give up easy points by turning it over. So her rule is she's not allowed to turn it over. That's her rule. Right? And if you have any doubts that you can complete that pass, you got to dribble handoff. Okay? If you can't make that pass, you got to dribble handoff. Okay? But let's say that you make that pass. Okay? Again, we're not stuck to just screening there. We're going to move over and headhunt the screen. You got to fight to the ball side because that's our continuity, okay? Now, as you start to come to the ball screen, we have 2 guards over here. Our spacing isn't correct anymore for our continuity. So we rule it, the top guard has got to go through. Once 25 made the decision to swing the ball that way, you've got to go through. So as you come off, you've got the lane to drive, you're looking kick, you got your roller, and you got your fill behind. Fine? All right, start here. All right, let's hit the post coming high. Let's hit the post, someone screen. Ball side. Okay? We're going to screen, we're going to roll down, you're going to come high, we're going to hit the post coming high. Okay, now, stay there, 13. Let's stay there, bounce it back out. Okay? All right, your choice. Then we're going to stay in continuity. Let's see if we got it. Okay, what do we got to do? She's going to go through, what do you got to do? Get to the ball side, okay? Get to the ball side. Okay, to open that up. Come back here right before you screen. Give her back to the ball. Okay, do we understand that? Pass. Go, bro. Go off that screen. Okay, we're right back in it. And you're trying to penetrate down your lane line. Okay? Simple continuity. Simple continuity. Wherever we hit, we're going to stay in our continuity. Okay? All right, set it back up. You guys remain set back up. And that's in your packet. All right, now, set that back up. Okay? 4 out again. Okay? Ball side spilled. Now, we let our post players make reads. We do not rule, unless they're running a quick hit, that they have to roll down or roll out. It is their read. Okay? What happens if the post player doesn't want to roll down but rolls out? Okay, here's our continuity. Penetrate and kick and circle out. Okay, roll out. Boom, kick, roll out, roll out. Okay, roll out. Okay, she penetrated, she kicked, and you rolled out and circled out. Where do you got to be? Ball side. Okay, so you're going to go again. Okay, dribble off and hit Brooke. You roll out again. Okay, circle out. Okay, keep going again. Roll out again. Bounce it up, bounce it up. No, don't pass it. Dribble it. There you go, Brooke. Dribble it towards the screen and pass it. That's what our kids want to do. Okay? Use it, use it, use it, use the screen. Roll out. Okay? All right, so we got continuity this way. Now, let me show you something. Come off the screen. This is how we teach the rollout. When we roll down, okay, we open up, okay, and we roll down, and our first step, okay, like opening a gate, is going to be with that step. When we roll out, come off the screen, our first step is with our bottom step. We step out, and we ask for it with the outside hand, and we're squared up, ready to rip and go, duck ins, high, high, low. Okay? Okay, so one more time. If you came off of me and I was rolling out, I was stepping out first with that foot, okay, and I got that action. Okay? All right, okay, we'll come back up now. All right, start on the ball side. All right, so, okay, you're going to have to fight. Not too early. You got to let her try to drive the lane line. You're going to fight post to post because we're going to just roll out every time. Okay, so roll out, and we're just going to kick to the guards. Keep the continuity. Roll out. Good. Go screener. Good. Don't be afraid to go get her. Good. Roll out. Go get her again. Good. Go. Good. Good. Roll out. Good. Good. Roll out. Huh? All right. All right. You guys, very good. All right. Rolling out. We have lots of driving lanes. We're trying to win our lane line battles, trying to get the corner turn. All right. What happens if we hit the post player? Rolling out. How do we stay in continuity? Set it back up. Set it back up. Okay, now come off of that. You can't win your lane line battle. So you tried, you don't get it, you bounce it out, you're going to hit the rollout. Okay? Stop. Okay, stay over there. Stay over there. Okay? Come back off of that again. Let me play post defense. Okay? And I'll show you where I'm going to be. Okay? I'm mid-post. Okay? Come off of that. Okay? Throw back there. Stay there. Okay? Now, get out of the lane. What's your name? Lisa. Okay? They threw back. I have to step over because so many times we're winning the lane lines. I'm your guard. I'm guarding you. Okay? I'm guarding you. You come off. You don't win it. All of a sudden you throw back hard to the post. I'm here guarding you. You're there. Where are you going to come get me at? Right here. You're going to kill me right there. Okay? My center last year was 240 pounds. She was 5'11". Okay? From West Lafayette. She was an Indiana All-Star. Okay? We would get help here, we would throw back, and you would have 240 running at me. Okay? Come running at me. Okay? And she would just own people here, and that's not where her strength was. I thought she was the best. I had the best three-point shooting center in the country last year from Lafayette Jeff. I said West Lafayette, she'd kill me if she heard me say that. From Lafayette Jeff, Liz Honiger. Okay? All right, one more time. Roll out. Don't move too soon. You're just going to duck in there. Okay? Roll out. Good. Good. Duck in. Okay? That's the high-low that we're looking for. Okay? Again, give her the ball. Now, the same thing, again, happens with our original continuity when we were exchanging. One post was rolling down, one post was coming high. They're on a string. They're on a string again. How do you keep continuity again when the posts are rolling out? Well, very simply. Okay? We can go right back here and hand off or pass and screen. Okay? And you got to get to the ball side. Now, Lisa, you got to get to the ball side post. Okay? And now you're reading your post. Is she rolling down or rolling out? Okay? Give her back the ball. Go back over there. You can't turn it over, so you're either going to dribble handoff or you're going to pass. If that happens, to stay in continuity, go screen right there. Step inside the arc. You've got to go through. Okay? You've got to go through. Stay on the ball side. Steve's got you guys moving. Okay? Now, if you get down in the lane line, you've got to roll through the lane, and you're going to come up behind her if she chose to roll down. Post players are reading each other. Okay? They're on a string. Roll out. They're reading. If they roll down, the low post has got to come high. Okay? All right. You guys set that up. Okay? All right. Lisa, you got to read. What's your name? Kira? Kira. Lisa, you got to read Kira. Now I'm going to leave it up to you. You can roll down, or roll out. Okay, so Lisa, you're just reading. You guys, I just want you guys to weave. No shot right now. Okay, let's see if we got it. Good. Roll down, exchange. Circle out. Good, Brooke. Good. Roll that down, exchange. Good. She moved over off center. Good. She rolled down again. Lisa, give me a roll out. Good. Roll out. Good. High-low. Get a score. All right. Throw it in there. Throw it in there. Go through. Perfect. All right. Brooke, get a shot. Find a shot for someone. That's perfect. Oh. No, that was perfect. We can't do that. I don't have a point guard who can do that. Would have been great to shoot behind the screen. That's why you look so good in our pickup that I never watch. All right. So, okay, that's our set. That is our set, and I know what you guys are thinking. Holy crap, he was the national runner-up coach of the year. We won 82 games in 3 years, 82 and 15. And that's what we do, you guys, and we drill it. We work really hard at it. I got great personnel. All right, and we did at Colorado State. We really did at Colorado State. We recruited Jackie Campbell because she was so well coached, and she came out to Colorado State and was just a stud because we could do different things with her. We could put her inside and she could post threes. We could roll her, and she could be a screener. She could be that catch and shoot kid on the wing, and she was perfect for that system. Jeanette Gray was perfect for that system. She kept hanging up on me when I'd call her to recruit, but Jeanette was great for that system. I couldn't convince her to come with Jackie out to Colorado State. But I was back in Northwest Indiana all the time recruiting because people were great for this system. All right. So, but that's not what makes this special. If you ask me to break it down, how often do we use this? Well, we pick and roll every single time down the floor. We want to run around 70 pick and rolls during the game. That's our goal, somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 pick and rolls. We run that basic continuity set probably 20% of the time. Okay, so what do we do when we're not running that? Well, we build quick hit packages out of this. And every time late in the shot clock winds down, we're going to do some type of pick and roll. But what makes this special, what I think is fun about this is it creates natural spacing, it keeps your players attacking, it gives them freedom. I am a terrible, absolutely the worst motion coach in the country. I would go watch Dan Jockey's coach every single day, and he's Bobby Knight Jr., and he's back in Indiana now, and he is just a phenomenal motion coach, and his players are moving and moving and moving, and all our kids are doing this. All our kids are asking for shots, and we got very stationary, and that is a weakness of this offense. It is stationary. We have to tell freshmen coming in, stand still more than move, because they've been taught their whole careers that if they're standing, they're doing something wrong. It is a stationary offense. People that like motion look at this offense and go, they're just standing. Yes, we stand a lot. But we build quick hit packages. And here's how we do our quick hit packages at BG. We develop quick hit packages for the 1 through the 5. We get quick hits for positions. So if we have a matchup or a kid gets hot, we go to a quick hit package that they're comfortable with, and we have certain plays for every one of the kids on the floor. Okay? Very simple. Okay? Then, but more importantly, then we build quick hit packages for how we're defended with the ball screen offense. Okay? So if you're anything like me, you're sitting at a clinic and you're sitting here going, oh, I'd shut that down. I'd trap it, I'd switch it, I'd jam that. And that is terrible. I mean, if you're anything like anyone who goes to clinics, you're sitting here all the time. Keith's sitting there licking his chops, we're going to beat him by 20. And we're going to shut that system down. Well, we have packages. Right? And when we come to a timeout, unfortunately at the college level, we have media timeouts. So we have a timeout every 4 minutes. Every time our kids run to the bench, the first thing I ask them is, how are they defending our ball screen? And they tell us, and well, what would we do? And we have quick hit packages. If they're trapping us, they know that I like these 4 or 5 quick hits. Okay? If they're switching, they know I like these 4 or 5 quick hits. If they're jamming, okay? If they're really aggressively hedging, if they're not letting us get to the screen and they're forcing us to the sidelines, and they know what quick hits we got. Okay? Now, I'm fortunate. I had a very smart team through the years. We had 45 quick hits last year out of this offense. 45. Okay? So, yeah, they needed to know a lot of plays. But it's just so easy to develop the plays out of this. And a quick hit out of this, and we have 30-second shot clock. So our plays have to be quick. and they're not long going, so it sounds worse than it is. Okay? Let's get a quick hit for Lisa and just change something very simple. This is a quick hit for the 5, okay, but it's just subtly changed what we do in the high ball screen offense. Lisa has a matchup, or Lisa has a post player that has 2 fouls. And we're going to isolate and we're going to go at them. We like the matchup. Okay? Well, let's get in our ball screen offense, but let's put Lisa opposite the basketball. Okay? We're going to ball screen at top. Instead of starting on the ball side, you're going to start weak side. Okay? Because the ball comes down this side, okay, my post player probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood here, because move Brooke down a little bit. Brooke, move down. If I get too aggressive to go under the screen for you, okay, and I try to fight under the screen too early, you can cross over before the screen and attack down that lane line. Okay? So I still, as a 5 player, have got to be down here in this position. Okay? So here's a quick hit for 5 that is out of our simple offense. Come off the ball screen, roll out, duck in, pound the ball. Okay? That's why 45 quick hits can be put in. That's a quick hit for us. That's what Louisville runs all the time under Tom Collin to their monster post players. They just put the post on the opposite side, not the ball side. They come off and they pound into her. Or they throw it and then they pound into her. Okay, pretty simple. Okay? I was just talking with Steve for a couple minutes in between the break, and it was ironic. He just diagrammed a play that we do as a quick hit this year, and we think it's a good quick hit. Keith, you better write it down. Okay? We come off, okay? We start opposite. We start opposite. We come off and we'll give a look to the post player, okay, in there. Okay? We will roll out for a second, 1001, 1002, and then we'll dive straight down the lane line. Okay? If we can't pound right away, we're going to kick and we'll circle out. Okay? Step out of the lane. Okay? Now, instead of going, they were exchanging, she was on the ball side, so she couldn't roll down. Okay? So we have poor spacing right now. We're going to sprint up and street immediately on the block, immediately on the wing. Okay? Immediately on the wing. Now, when we come off of the screen, okay, we have all this lane to get into and look for a jumper, but we're also ducking in on our player. Okay? Ducking in on our player. And if I sink, Brooke's still my shooter from the wing. If I get buried in here for the post, it's a curl bounce pass into the post. And it's just a quick hit. It's just a very simple quick hit that we've changed very, very little. We're screening more on the wing. Okay? We gave another look to our big post player that we liked the matchup, and then we ran this quick hit out of it. Okay? So again, come off, look for Lisa in the post. If you don't get it, kick out, circle out, Lisa comes screen, duck in, and kick. Duck in and kick. Now, look where you're at, look where you're at. Give her the ball. Okay? Say you don't have the duck in, okay? And you kick the Brook. Where are you going to go? Absolutely. Okay? Lisa, where are you going to come? Come up high. Come up high. Okay? And we're right back in. We flow right back into what we feel comfortable with. We're down to 12. We're down to 10. We're down to 11. And we're still in our attacking ball screen offense. And we're right back in it. Steve.
What we did this afternoon was that I just want Lisa to go back and we just flipped right out of it.
And came out again. Almost made it a continuity that way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Steve just kept it continuity instead of flowing back into what we would flow back into is back to that normal set that we have. Okay? So that's just a quick hit for the 5. Okay? And you just continue to build quick hits. One of the things that I know you guys are thinking is how they're going to defend us. How are they going to defend us? Most of you guys are going to be up there trapping. Okay? Trapping us. And we work on traps every single day. We come down and we just get on 2-on-2 and we work on traps making passes. And then we progress 2 against 3, 3 against 3, 3 against 4, and we work on trapping defenses. Okay? So let's bring the ball up here. Point guard gets set up in our typical set. Hey, can I have 2 reds that come out here and just, let's make it 3. Guard the wing, guard the post, and guard the point. All right, now, in the typical set, the typical rotation, how to trap us is to come off the ball screen, jump up there and trap us. Okay? Bounce off a little bit. Okay? Just trap right there. Okay, now, we work on this every day. First, we work hard on attacking the bigs. We work on this, and then we got to feel comfortable that we can make good, aggressive attacking passes out of the trap. Okay? Let's say that we were in our mode where we were rolling down. Okay? So she rolls down out of that trap, you're running up. Okay? The typical rotation when they trap, okay, come up above the arc, is to rotate the guard you're dribbling away from and play steal. Okay? So Lisa, you're going to try to make that catch. You're going to try to get in that passing lane and steal it. Okay? So you're going to try to hit Lisa coming up out of the trap. Okay? And you would step in there, and they would leave farthest away from the trap open, not thinking that they could throw out of that trap. Okay? All right, let's just try that. Let's try to hit Lisa coming up. Don't let her get it. Don't let Lisa catch it. Rotate. Okay? The post player, okay, that was guarding Lisa stays in and zones the lane. Okay? Who wants to guard Lisa for me? Someone jump in there and guard Lisa. Okay? All right, now, don't guard her as she comes up. You zone the lane. You're going to take this one. Okay? All right. Stop. Okay? That's how people rotate. Trap, zone the lane up, and to steal that, and they come with the weak side guard. Okay? Fine. Okay? Fine. That's how typical everyone treats it. Let me give you a couple things that we do to try to avoid that trap. Okay? All right, red, step off for a second. Okay? The person that we move most in our quick hits is the low post person. Okay? Is the low post person. One of the things that we can do is step to the corner, cut out. All right? Move back just a little bit. All right? Now we've opened the lane up. We know a team's getting ready to trap us and is being aggressive, hedging and trapping. As you come, slip. Okay? I step out and trap. We've opened the lane up. Okay? So we work a lot on slipping against teams that trap. Lots of different sets, multiple sets of teams that like to trap us. We'll try to find areas to slip. Okay? Double up. Get basically one above each lane line. Get more in the middle of the floor. Okay? Get in the corner, corner. Okay? Another area, okay? Let's say both post players are going to be up here getting ready to trap. Dribble towards me. Okay? Split. All right, right to the basket. There's no one in the lane again. So we like to open up the lane. We like to look for slips against teams that like to trap us. Okay? Simple things to do. Okay? Simple things to do. All right, set it back up in the normal set. Okay? Where are they rotating from? Understanding the rotation is from her person, okay, when they're trapping. No matter if she rolls down or out on the ball screen, the rotator is here. The simple thing is to do is start her in the corner. Okay? And then we can stay on our same thing. Now my defense is here. My rotation is farther. Okay? Roll down. Lisa come up. Lisa catch the ball. Lisa straight up the lane line. Straight up the lane line. There you go. I get caught in this position. I didn't rotate fast enough. I get caught. Now, okay? Now, shot, drive, extra pass, we get shots. Okay? So a simple adjustment is to make that rotation harder in the trap, move her down to the corner. All right, set it back up. All right? Another simple thing against traps is take the rotator away. Okay? Come down, call play, put a thumb up in the air, something. Just give me a signal. There you go. Okay? She calls the play, she runs all the way through to the baseline. Okay? Circle out and go to your block, the other block. Okay? As that's happening, come out. Okay? Roll out. Trap. Okay? Little hook pass over top because there's absolutely no one that can rotate over there, so you can throw it to the ceiling and complete this pass. Okay? Throw it over the trap. Okay, hopefully you wouldn't pass like that out of the trap. But okay, right there, now we got no one here. Okay? Her person was just trapping. There's no one that was rotating. We can shoot threes, we can walk in and shoot pull-ups. Okay? We've taken the rotator out of the trap away. And it's just fun. Just sit in your office all the time and just figure out where rotations are coming from in the traps and what you can do. Okay? And our kids know that there's 5, 10, 15 things that Coach Miller likes to do against teams who trap us. Okay? All right. Let's go to the flavor of the month on how to guard ball screens. Set this back up. And the new way to guard the ball screen, it seems like everyone, is to jam. Huh? okay, is the jam, and I'm not going to let her move. I'm not going to let her readjust the screen, okay? I'm not going to be able to headhunt as easy, and I'm just going to lean on this kid the whole time, okay? Come off of there, okay? All right, well, now it's harder to roll down. Now, we're going to try to roll down, and we're going to be like the Detroit Shock, and we're going to flop all over the place, but we're going to be harder to roll down, okay? So it forces us to roll out. What foot are you going to step with? Good, okay? All right. Now, quick hits. What can you do to quick hit? Well, we like to screen the jammer, okay? So let's start again, okay? Start opposite, okay? Come in and screen me. Come screen me. Okay, ready, go. Come off of that. Okay, go. Screen. Okay? We have really good shooting post players, so we could flare out, okay, off the back screen. We could curl that, but go screen the jammer. Okay? On the jam, though, okay, your point guard's got to win some lane line battles and win. If they can jam your ball screen and your point guard can't win some lane line battles, and they're just diving under you or fighting up and bellying up with you and going over top of the screen, okay, then you're in trouble. Okay? Then you're in trouble. But screen that person. Okay? The other thing, okay, here's a simple one. Okay, this is the one we got from the fifth grade coach. Okay? Come right here. Okay? When we run this for different things, okay? But we're going to re-screen, okay? We're going to re-screen, okay? Stay a little bit lower. Come off the screen, stay high, okay? Immediately come back off the screen and re-screen and come up here, okay? When teams get in jam mode, okay, you're going to screen the point guard, okay? This person would run up the screen and this person would jam too and we'd walk in for a layup, okay? Let me have someone guard the point guard. Let me have someone just lean against that post player. And I'll guard the low post. Okay? Coach told us to jam. Coach told us to jam. Okay? 34, go underneath this ball screen defensively. Okay? All right, here we go. Go screen her. Go screen her. Okay? Go screen her. Go underneath both times. Okay? Front pivot and just screen. And then you want to move down here, front pivot this way. Okay, go over that again. Go low, go under, coming up. Now come back under 34, come back under. Got her this time. I'm jamming, okay, and she walks down the lane line. Okay, walks down the lane line. You want to get almost a double screen. Okay, all right, one more time. I'm guarding Lisa. I'm going to jam because I'm taught to jam. Okay, score it. Score it. Just gonna walk in for a layup. And we got everybody on that. We get Duke on that all the time. Now Allison Bales at 6'6" eventually comes and tries to block your shot, but you get down lane lines. Okay? So jams, traps, high aggressive hedges. Not letting people get to the ball screen. This is a common one now. Is people get way up on our inside and not want to get us to the middle. Okay? Well, we have all packages for that. We have all packages. They're going left, so that's what Valpo's going to do to us. We're going to go left. We heard that today, right? So they're going to force me that way. They're not going to let me get to the ball screen. Fine. We have all sorts of packages for that. And that's what I think is the best about this, is that you can build packages for your personnel, but also for the typical ways that you're defended ball screen-wise. Okay? All right. Red back off of there. All right, let's go to some old faithfuls. I talk to coaches all the time, and they're like, Coach, I really like it, but I'm not dedicated to doing it all the time. Well, we run it as our primary set, a lot of ball screen stuff. You can run it as a secondary set. You can run it with a quick hit package. You can do high-lows. You can just run a little bit of it. And I had coaches call me up all the time and say, I've always been a motion coach, or I've always been a person that believes when in doubt, I run a lot of back screen, stagger screens. Okay? Well, great. Okay? Well, I like to do that too. Okay? So let's run a back screen, stagger screen play out of the ball screen offense. Okay? All right, roll down. Okay? Don't pass the ball. Just dribble off and bounce out. Brooke, you're going to slide low as she's coming. Okay? Here we go. Roll down. Okay? All right, come up high. All right, we're still in our set. We haven't made a pass. Okay? Pass. Swing it. Back screen. To the block. Stagger screen out of the corner. Go, Brooke. Go shoot it for me. Pressure. No, pressure's on. Because I watch you make them all the time when I'm not watching pickup. All right. Go again. Go again. Okay? Back screen, stagger screen. All right? All right, now, simple, very simple stuff. All right, now, Brooks, catch here without scoring. All right, without scoring. Okay, who was the second screener? Okay, turn and screen here. All right, go down there. All right, now come off of that, and you got two-man game. Roll out, and we got good spacing. All right, two-man game. Two-man game. Okay, all right, run that again. Okay, let's go a little bit further. We don't have a lot of time in the 30-second shot clock, okay? But let me walk you through this and see if you got it, okay? Stop again, don't pass it. Everyone cut hard, okay? Roll down, roll up. Here we go. Stop, okay? Stop, okay? Swing it. Back screen, stagger screen. Stop, okay? Now, come off of the ball screen, post up on that block, and go stagger screen again out of the corner. Okay? Occupying people, moving the defense, which everybody likes. All right? We've got two-man game there, coming off the ball screen, trying to pound another stagger screen. Okay? Can you run that all the way to the end? All off the ball screen. Okay? Even though they're looking for different things for all you people, we chase Toledo around on back screen stagger screens every single time down the floor. Their play will eventually get to a point where they're running a back screen to a stagger screen. Okay, well, we talk all the time. We can do the same thing. We still are going to give our ball screen offense a look. Okay, all right, let's do back screen, stagger screen. Swing, back screen, stagger screen, another ball screen, looking for the post up, and stagger screen, Lisa, stagger screen. Okay, and we got spacing, and then we're always attacking. Okay, simple things like that. All right, set it back up. All right, this time, let's start opposite and roll out. Okay, throw back to the post, rolling out, and then stop. Ready? Stop. Okay? All right, everybody likes the flex. Everybody likes the flex. Well, we're in it. We gave it a chance. I'm not going to take this kid's roll out 3 opportunity off of a cheap trap or a mistake. I'm not going to take her come off and pound into Lisa right from the beginning. But if we get to this is the play that's called. Okay? So let's get to this point, and then Brooke, you're going to come off the flex screen, you're going to down screen for Lisa. Okay? We're just going to run the flex real quick. Okay? Off the ball screen offense. Okay? Again, we started the post opposite, but here we go. Okay? Ball screen. Look for Lisa. Don't have it. Roll out. Flex, Lisa. Good. Down screen. Boom. We're in flex. Go. Down. Flex. Okay. Stop. Okay. And then we can flow back in. We flow back into a ball screen eventually. Okay. Out of that. But people that like the flex, well, you can run the ball screen into the flex. Okay. So you can bring back all the old faithful. And so we want a ball screen every time down the floor, but that doesn't mean that we don't incorporate what people like to do. Because I think in order for you to be successful, you have to understand the weaknesses of your offenses. And some of the weaknesses of our offenses, if we just ran that basic set, we don't have a lot of movement. We wear the point guard defensively out, because she's got to come down and go off ball screens, ball screens. Okay? But we don't have a lot of movement. So we got to have quick hits that get movement so we don't become so stationary. All right, now, I think it's important too, or one of the strengths of the offense is that you can run it with different people. Right? If you have a prototypical point guard that's not a penetrator, can make offense for herself, or can get in the line battles and win battles for people, well, start your offense and dribble right at your good penetrating guard and let her be the first one to come off the thing, starting the ball side like our typical set. Okay? All right, dribble right at her. Okay? She's your best penetrator. Now you're in it. And you may have created a matchup advantage with a guard-to-guard switch that you like.
My question is, like, if you had Lisa away last time, you won her on ball side, how did your coach know when to call something?
Again, on our basic set, she's always going to be on the ball side. She will be on the weak side on a lot of our quick hit calls. And that will be a subtle change within our quick hits. Does she know that she has to start on the ball side or the weak side? If we get caught, you can never be wrong. You've got to communicate. Let's say that Lisa's on the weak side. Brooke, come over here and take the ball. Let's say that we were in our basic set, Steve, and Lisa made a mistake and is on the wrong side, on the weak side. And as we dribble off to here, she's just going to communicate with the high post going, roll out. We have a different word for that, but she's going to yell our code to the post player to roll out. All right. Sit back up here. Let me give you one that just, I taped a FIBA game the other night because I recruit a lot of post players who can score on the perimeter. I don't think I can get that big monster post player. We have a lot of posts that can shoot, but Tom runs this offense with a lot of big, high-low, banging type post players. He runs it with slashing athletes at the wing. I have we were 5th or something like that in the country this year in turnovers per game. I have a point guard who dribbles to her head. Okay, can never, ever, she's an all-conference kid, she's unbelievable, but she's never, ever gone behind her back, not one time. I had a 6'1" 2 guard that all she could do was stand and shoot. She couldn't dribble, so she couldn't come off the screen fast enough to get it to someone else. And I had 3 players settled for 3-point shots, but was a physical specimen, but was not a good ball handler. But this offense, you don't turn the ball over, okay? You don't turn the ball over, but you can recruit different people, okay? Let me give you one of the sets that the FIBA team just ran against America, and America couldn't stop it, okay? And it was a very, very simple play. Okay. All right. As we come off, we start on the weak side. Okay. As we come off, we're going to roll out and receive a pass. Okay. As she's coming off the ball screen, you're going opposite direction. You're going to run baseline. Okay, off of a little rub screen. Okay? All right, come off of that. Go. Okay, stop already. Okay? Right here, the international team would come and try to pound the ball against us. Okay? Would try to pound the ball against us. Immediately look for a 2-man game. Okay? In fact, I think this guard at times was taught to run over top of this kid and run into the post defender on purpose. Okay? Just bump her and make that a little bit easier. Okay? If they didn't have that 2-man game, they would throw to the post rolling out. Okay? The guard was coming out, and this is a guard-to-guard screen, but you're setting a down screen, you're coming off. In America, she's setting a down screen for you. The Americans would switch that. Start back out here, Brooke. You just come off of there. Set that down screen. Okay? And we still completed that pass. Brooke, you would continue immediately and set a ball-to-ball, block the block screen. Okay? A little guard to post, block the block screen. Okay? And if they didn't mind that, then they would throw it in there. You are going to set a down screen for Brooke and have that screen-to-screener action in the lane. Okay? Screen-to-screener action in the lane. And it's right about here. Okay? You're going to be right about the foul line. Okay? Brooke, come off of that. Okay? Catch the ball. Circle out and ball screen. Circle out and ball screen. Okay? And they're right back into a ball screen to finish the play. Okay? I'm confusing you guys. I know this is a lot, but this is the international play that just worked against the Americans over and over again. Let's try this again. Slowly. Come off of this. Try to pound it in there. Nothing. Roll out. Okay? Guard to guard. Boom. Continue to block the block. Screen the screener inside. Get a shot at the top of the key. If not, ram it at her. Stay over there. Let her dribble down that lane line. Don't bring your defender to the lane line. She's going to shoot a layup. Okay? Let's get Brooke a layup at the end of the play off the ball screen. All the way to the end to get Brooke a layup off the ball screen. Give them a hand. That's a pretty good job. That's a good job. So a lot of fun things. Every once in a while you pick up things like that and you're there. Keith, I have 2 more minutes. Weaknesses. Weaknesses of the offense. I got to have you think about it because we do a couple unique things. Set it back up, basic set. Are you considered the 2 or the 3? Doesn't really matter. Okay, let's right now be the 2. Okay, you're the 2. Okay? All right, come down and get deep penetration and kick the brook. Roll down. Okay, and Lisa's coming up. Okay, the weakness of the offense. Because our point guard gets so much penetration, stay there, like you guys even be near each other. You haven't circled out yet. The point guard came and kicked the brook. Okay, we're asking our point guard to get a lot of penetration. So therefore, we come down and we kick and we take a shot. Okay, therefore the point guard is inside a lot. Well, I got kicked out of so many gyms growing up because I didn't get back on defense. I can't remember. Okay, and so someone's got to get back. And I'm like Keith. Okay, get into the Duke game. Duke was averaging, we broke down all the film before we played Duke this year, 68% of their offense came in transition. 68%. We refused to let Duke beat us in transition. We refused to let them beat us in transition. We were going to make them have to beat us in half court, and they almost didn't. And they almost didn't because we just refused to give them layups. But our offense asked our point guard to go penetrate a lot and get in there. And because of that, when we kick or dump and take a lot of shots, your point guard in this offense is in the lane area. So we can't be back with our point guard. So we are always back with our two guard, no matter where she's at. So if Brooke is playing a three, act like you're going up to shoot it. On the flight of the ball, our two is running back into the hole. Okay? Lisa has just, because of the pattern, run from low to high. There is not a damn person on the weak side to rebound. And we all know that the ball rebounds more opposite than that. Okay? So it is a tough offense at times, okay, to rebound. Now, if that's the two shooting it, Brooke would land and run back. But if that's the three shooting it, our two's running back, our post is just run up. We have bad weak side rebounding. Some of you guys probably teach rebound. Everything you diagram, you eventually have triangle rebounding principles. That's why Pat at Summit's good. It's all about our offensive rebounding stuff, not anything else, in my opinion, but that's my opinion. And so we have to teach your post players to go hard to the basket, go back into the basket to rebound. You have to do that. But we're going to play percentages, and we would rather make it hard at the defensive end to score than maybe a couple offensive rebounding. We're the worst offensive rebounding team in our league every year. Every year, I'll take the rings and give up that title of being the best offensive rebounding team. It's just something to think about. The other thing it allows you to do is your point guard to be in here to rebound. And our point guards have always averaged over 5.5 rebounds a game, which is pretty high percentage for our point. But they're also able to get to outlet areas and stop the ball quicker because they're not drifting back to the half court line and then running back up to stop the ball. They are in an area where now they can get to the outlet area fast and try to stop the ball. Okay? Something to think about if you start to like the ball screen offense more and more and your point guard is asked to screen. Who's getting back? Because just like Keith, don't give up easy points. Take away easy points. Win 40-38 before you have to always try to get in shootouts. And we average a lot of points, but I'm much more worried about that coverage. Okay? The other thing for high school coaches to think about, I don't have to deal with quite as much. Set that back up in the basic set. And this happened at Colorado State a lot too, because we had the ball in Becky Hammond's hands a lot. Okay? She comes off the screen. Okay? 3 straight times down the floor. Layup, step back 3, bounce it back, get a high-low with the post, okay, or penetrate kick. We've scored 4 straight times down the floor, and we've made 3 passes in 4 possessions. Because you just take quick shots in this offense. I heard Greg mention move the ball from side to side, get the defense to move. Well, we don't do that, okay, because you're going to take quick shots. So then you're going to hear your high school parents going, pass the ball, pass the ball. Well, this offense takes quick shots. And if they don't defend you well, and they don't get you stopped and don't do a good job with your ball screen, you literally can come down the floor 4 or 5 straight possessions and make 0 or 1 or 2 passes at most. And you got to live with that. Okay? And that would drive Coach Dockage crazy about our offense because we never pass it. And all day long we work on penetrate and kick shooting drills, and all these breakdown drills. And they're screening, re-screening, and setting up cuts, and flare screening, and back cutting, and changing the side. The ball's got to change. And they 10, 11, they're yelling out passes. I'm like, shit, we'd have 3 shots already by the time you all this crap going on. So Yeah, and we just differed that way, and we respected the heck out of each other, but it's different. But things to think about the offense, because there aren't a lot of passes if you're aggressive and you're creative. Okay? All right, last thing, I'll show you one breakdown drill that we do. Do we have other balls? All right, I need one post there and all the posts there, all the guards with the ball. Hey, will you help me? Okay, will you stand next to me? How many balls there? Is there 3 balls? Anyone else? Throw one more ball. And I need 2 balls with me. All right, this is all we're going to do. Very simple two-man game breakdown. Okay. I need the last 2 in line over here. Will you be over here too? Okay. You guys are on this wing. Guards are going to come off and penetrate and kick for a jumper. Hey, you guys, step up here with me. Yeah. Guards are going to step over and penetrate and kick jumper. Okay? So you're going to, who's up here first? Lane line extended. You're going to slide and shoot jumpers. Okay? You're going to roll out. You're going to roll out. I'm going to hit you. You're going to rip it and drive. Okay? Get your own rebound, pass it back to Jenna from Ohio, from a really good program. Okay? All right, let's do that. You guys go back to the end of the line. Okay? You're just sliding and shooting threes. You guys are all getting ready to slide and shoot threes. Ready? Go. Get your own rebound. Ready? Go. Roll out. Drive it. Ready? Roll out. Drive it. Stop. I'm sorry, I wasn't watching. Guards got to switch lines. Rebound your own shot, and then go to the dribble line. The passing line becomes the shooting line. Brooke, get over here and shoot. My bad. Ready? Go. Roll out. Drive it. I need a ball. Roll out. Drive it, please. Roll out. Drive it. Okay? Now, right, we do this over and over again. Now, we change so the guards get used to passing the rollout. Okay? I act like the point guard coming off. So, Brooke, come off of that screen, roll out, shoot a 3. No, not you. I'm sorry. Throw back and shoot a 3. Come off that screen, throw it back to the post. Shoot a 3. Okay? And all you guys are doing is spotting up and acting like if she comes off the screen, you're sliding and you're going to receive the pass from me. Okay? And then switch lines. Get your rebound, switch lines. Okay? You guys are shooting 3s. Look at that. Get in here, ready, shooter. Get up here and slide down. Get up here, lane line, slide down. All right, hold up. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. All right. So we have assistant coaches out there. I didn't get Meredith up to help me, but assistant coaches out there, and we get that rotation. We just fly through shooting all the time. And what we do, all the breakdown drills that we do are shots that we're going to receive in the high ball screen offense, and we just work on that constantly. We probably work an hour a day on just shooting drills off the high ball screen offense. They're getting used to passing, they're getting used to attacking. Okay. Here, let me guys back up. Let me do it. If they come off, what we teach, and I don't know if you guys do what's comfortable. If we're rolling out, is that what you're asking about? We like to step with our bottom foot. So if I'm screening, I'm going to step with our bottom foot. Ask for it outside hand so no one can drive the passing lane. Here. Oh. All right, so we're going to, again, step with our bottom foot, ask for the outside hand, we're ready to go. Rip and drive, shot, dribble handoff, go back at the point.
Okay, on the step out, what do you tell them? I struggled with that last year. Throwing back. How far do you need to wait for the screen? Because I thought that spacing was really good.
As the point guard, or does the guard passing it, or as the post player stepping out?
As I'm coming off of that screen, now post flipped out,
Well, there's two things that go into it, Steve. If we're in our basic set and they don't win their lane line battle, they got to bounce it out and be able to pass on this side of their body. Lane line to lane line, a little bit wider than lane line to lane line. In our quick hits where they know they're looking for the person rolling out or the person coming high, they're not as aggressively trying to attack their lane line. So they're already setting up for this pass. And the post player, when they're jammed especially, okay, if they're high hedged, you know, maybe at times too, but when they're jammed, if they're lazy, okay, trying to get out here, they can shoot the gap and try to steal that pass. So, and we just work on it and work on it over and over again. So, any other questions? You guys, I talk X's and O's till I'm blue in the face, so I love it. So call me if you email me anything.
And most coaches like that have open policy on practice. Do you have that too?
Absolutely. This year we're practicing 12 to 3. It's not the most. Absolutely. Yes. There's in that packet, the last page has email, phone numbers, even my cell phone number if anyone wants to reach me. And our practices are all open to come over and watch a lot of the breakdown drills that we do. I know what Greg was saying, that players win games, and certainly players win games, but I think we found something 10 years ago when we were doing this at Colorado State. There's a reason as a mid-major program that I've been to 2 Sweet 16s. I do believe the system wins. I do believe the ball screen offense is hard to defend. I'm a point guard, so I'm biased. I think eventually a big post player is going to make a mistake. And I tell my post players that, but we pick on the post players. Eventually they're going to make a mistake. Teams try personnel-wise to defend us differently. One person they go under, one person they go over, one person they'll trap. They try to change out of every timeout and guard our ball screen different. They try to, well, then we have them, because this is what we do. And if teams defensively try to change too much or tell their post player, you got 5 guards in the rotation at BG that play, you're going to guard all 5 guards differently off that ball screen. Well, we think eventually a post player is going to make a mistake. We ball screen a great deal against zone, not exclusively like we do man, but we do it. And, we were 31-4. We lost to Notre Dame in overtime after leading for the first 38 minutes. We had the ball with 2 minutes to go, down a single possession against Duke. We lost lost to the longest home win streak in the country this year. And then we got destroyed in the Sweet 16 against Arizona State, because they were the first team that we've played in years that could switch 1 through 5, and their post players were better than our guards. They could just guard us, and our posts couldn't get their point guards posted up. We just couldn't get it done. We love when people switch, but Arizona State got us. And if anyone watched that team game on TV, we dug ourselves a hole, and they switched 1 through 5 the whole game, and they got us. They had a 6'6" kid off the bench. First 2 times she came in the game, we isolated, took her one-on-one, and scored both times. Buzzer horn, and she went back out. And I was so mad at myself why I wasn't a little bit more patient, because we needed her on the floor. But Arizona State got us because they could switch 1 through 5 and guard us. I know I've taken away 15 minutes of lunch, Keith. I apologize, but I really appreciate being here. Thank you.